real turmoil in Greece at the moment, so a lot to get you up to date with this morning. Morning, everyone. Yeah, the Greeks are now restricted to taking out a maximum of €60 a day. That's about £40. And to even get that money out is hard work, as many of the machines are empty, and those that do have cash in have huge queues outside of them. Now, it's all because a deal still has not been agreed to sort out Greece's finances, and the European Central Bank said it wouldn't increase emergency funding for Greek banks while they try to sort things out, which means they're really in danger of running out of money. Well, with me now is Schick, who is here from the pro-EU reform think tank Open Europe. Good morning to you, Nina. So, just in terms of what's happened with the country at the moment, just bring us up to speed in terms of where we are in terms of getting a deal.
Well, I think that because the talks were broken off on Friday, there is currently no basis for a deal. So the next thing we have to watch out for is the referendum on Sunday. Now, Tsipras, the Prime Minister of Greece, said this is a vote on whether or not the Greek people want to accept the austerity measures put forward by the creditors. But actually what it is a vote on whether or not Greece wants to stay in the Eurozone. So what happens next will very much depend on which way the Greek people decide to vote on the referendum on Sunday.
But until that referendum, there's a big deadline, which is tomorrow, for Greece to pay back something like €1.6 billion to the International Monetary Fund, and they haven't got the money for that at the moment, have they?
Indeed, and it looks like Greece will likely default on that. However, the 30-day grace period whereby they'll simply be in arrears to the IMF. So what that actually means is that economically, at least in the short term, it doesn't make that much of a difference if Greece doesn't make this payment. However, down the line, later in the summer, it has other payments due, specifically to the ECB, the European Central Bank, on the 20th of July. And if it doesn't make that payment, then we're talking about much more likely scenario where Greece exits the Eurozone.
And there's been some talk that this referendum might not happen at all either. So, what needs to happen to make sure the referendum happens?
Well, I mean, first of all, the referendum is a completely legitimate democratic exercise. However, as the creditors said, the Eurogroup finance minister said over the weekend, it doesn't seem very logical to hold that referendum 5 days before the bailout is due to expire. It expires on Tuesday, of course. So there is actually no question yet on the referendum, because Tsipras had said it's on the latest deal put forward by the creditors, but the bailout expires on Tuesday. So it's not exactly sure what the people will be voting on yet. And also there are questions about whether or not Greece can actually finance the referendum. According to the Greek constitution, they have to have papers printed, the ballot papers printed and sent to all the polling stations by tomorrow, and it doesn't look like that's in place yet either.
Oh, so much to be done, Nina. Thank you very much for your time this morning.